You booked it, episode 171. What's going on, everyone? Thank you for joining me today on You Booked It, the #1 podcast where you learn how to create a successful entertainment career. Every episode is a masterclass on how to move your career forward. Do you want to take your career to the next level? As a listener of this podcast, I am offering you the opportunity to work one-on-one with me to build the foundation of what you need to create a successful career in today's world. Regardless if you're starting out or you've been doing this a while, I've got you covered. Look, when I entered this industry, I went to the #1 school in the USA for musical theater, graduated with an insane skill set, and zero clue about how to actually make my skills a career. I lost years of momentum because of it. Do not let this happen to you. That's why I created this podcast. That's why I'm making you this offer to coach with me. If you're interested, simply tap the link in the description of this episode and let's chat. Okay, let's get started. I am excited to introduce my guest today, Sherrill Williams. Are you ready for this, Sherrill?
Oh, yeah.
All right. A lifelong lover of the performing arts, Dr. Sherrill committed most of her life to studying dance. After losing 90 pounds, she blended her love of dance with wellness by receiving a Doctor of Physical Therapy degree from New York University. Shortly after, she founded Leg Up Fitness and Wellness, a concierge fitness and physical therapy practice. Leg Up's client credits include the first U.S. national tour of Aladdin, Hamilton, Lizzo, John Legend, Complexions, Contemporary Ballet, and more. Dr. Sherrill is a passionate advocate for dance injury prehab and rehab, and loves helping dancers around the U.S. virtually and in person. Sherrill, that is a quick intro of who you are and what you've done, but why don't you tell us a little bit more about yourself? Fill in the gaps and a little bit more about what you do as a professional in the entertainment industry.
Of course. Like he said, I am Dr. Sherrill Williams. I am from a cute little city called Largo, Florida. Most people have never heard of it. The next biggest place is Tampa, but I am currently calling New York City my home. I am also a dancer. It stole my heart first. And many don't know that I actually was a studio manager for an arts conservatory. I was a
Cool.
nonprofit. And yeah, it was really great and fulfilling. I got to give scholarships to youth in underserved neighborhoods that got to take classes in dance, acting, visual arts, photography, videography. It was really cool until I moved to New York and I got my doctorate. And now I am here taking care of the beautiful artistic community, a lot more pre-COVID, of course.
Yes.
And I'm mobile or concierge, which just means I come to my clients' homes. I've come to rehearsal studios. Wherever you need me, I come.
Yeah. Very cool. Love it. Let's dig into this first section here. And Sherrill, look, I am a sucker for a good quote. What is your favorite quote you'd like to share with everyone?
Okay, so I'm very Southern. And in the South, where you usually grew up in the church, and there was a lyric in a song, and it just says, "The storm won't last always." That's my favorite quote.
It really does put some perspective into things. And can you expand on that a bit, on how it's really worked its way into your life?
Yes, of course. For me, my quote unquote storm was physical therapy in a way, not because it's hard or school was hard, but because it was difficult being taken away from dance and the artistic community for 3 years. And so it's like, this is my whole life. And then you maybe have time for a class, maybe, but I was very much into academics and getting good grades. And so I felt like I had to push the arts out of my life a little bit. And so I just had to remind myself, I'm not going to be in school forever. I'm going to get
Right.
back to my roots. I'm going to get back to my love, which is dance.
Yeah, very cool. And because you had that perspective to, hey, I just got to focus on this for a moment. Now, your whole career is about the arts and helping those in it and helping people create long careers and get back on their feet should injuries happen. So it's brilliant, right? You've come right back. It's not, you just had to take a pause.
Oh yeah, but I can't lie. It was hard.
Yeah, I believe it.
It was so hard, man.
I believe it.
I feel like a part of you. I mean, I know artists can, even like with COVID, we're not in the studio, we're not on stage. I hope this doesn't last for 3 years, for my 3 years.
Yeah.
It was an interesting ride. I'm happy
for sure.
to be free.
Good. And let's get into this next section here. And Sherrill, of course, you are a professional in the entertainment industry. I'm a professional in the entertainment industry. And I think that you'd agree that this can be one of the most subjective, brutally honest, and personally emotional industries in existence. And you know as well as I that in order to create and have a successful career in the arts, like you're having now, takes a lot of dedication and hard work. And while, yeah, there's an outrageous amount of fun and fulfillment doing what we do, there are also our fair share of obstacles, challenges, and failures we're going to experience and we're going to have to move forward through. So tell us, what is one key challenge, obstacle, or failure you've experienced in your career, and how did you come out the other side better because of it?
I would have to say finding the time to speak with dancers and artists to truly learn what they need while I was studying in physical therapy school. Because what they teach you in school is cute, but it's not the person, right? But it's not like the person. You guys are people. This textbook foolishness doesn't work. I'm treating a human being, and I need to know how you feel. I would be, oh my God, in and out. NYU schedule was very strict. And so I like sneak out the back and leave class early. I never forget, we were in class and the program is very small. And then my class is very tight knit. So I'm like leaving a pharmacology class early and my classmate's like, Sherrill, where are you going? Meanwhile, I'm like, be quiet. And I got the opportunity to speak with Troy Powell, who is the artistic director of Ailey 2. So I'm like trying to get my books so I can get over to Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how can I make it work? It taught me to be creative. And you figure it out when you want to reach a goal and your mission. That's what it taught me.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm so glad that you talk about, hey, I'm treating people here, because I think it's very easy to just read the textbook but when you go to apply it in real life, you're like, hold on, this is so difficult. This is something that it's finally dancers, for instance, are coming out with dance specific workout routines and things like this, because what ends up happening is if you go and get like a personal training certificate or certification, then that's great, but what a lot of that trains you to do is how to be generally fit but if you really follow that, what often will happen is that you'll get a bit too big, a bit too muscly than what you're trying to look for. People want to be maybe a bit more lean, but really strong. How do you do this? And then dancers are such high performance athletes that how do you treat that as opposed to, say, someone who plays football or basketball? There's more finesse in the movements and what we do. So I love that you're asking those questions and you said, look, I need to know this.
Yes. And actually, to your point, like when I was studying, we would watch videos of football players and baseball players and soccer players and have slow-mos, and they'll ask you, okay, what do you see? Or this person is in pain and injured. How do you think that happened? What do you think would go wrong? You don't get that in PT school for dance. And so I had to create that on my own. Like I'm on everybody's Instagram and I'm looking at your videos. Yeah. And when you guys are posting clips from your shows and I'm sitting there and I'm analyzing the movements all of the time and saying, oh, what's missing? Or how could this person be stronger? Or, oh my God, I went to this show, they are doing this movement 1,000 times. What could go wrong? And how can I prevent something bad from happening or an injury from happening? We don't appreciate, the society doesn't appreciate the arts like it does traditional quote unquote sports.
Yeah, for sure. But thank goodness for you and really being passionate about that and diving into that because it's so important. I was in a show called Jubilee in Las Vegas and beautiful show, but there's a lot of repetitive motion and it was killing my hamstrings. And I didn't really know what to do necessarily besides stretch and roll out and some strength training. It was hard. What I needed was someone like you to go, right, this is such a repetitive motion. It's not necessarily a difficult, crazy, intense motion, but the repetition of it is what broke everything down. And knowing how to fix that is invaluable for us.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I just love watching y'all too. That brings me joy.
Great. Let's move on to a time that I like to call your spotlight moment. That one moment in time you realized, yes, I am going to be in this entertainment industry for a living. Or maybe it was, yes, this is what I need to be doing in the industry. Tell us about that.
Oh, so I worked with a choreographer named Charles Smith Jr. Wonderful guy. He had a company or has a company called Strictly for the Ladies. I believe I think it was like 20 to 30 ladies. And he did almost like a summer workshop that ended in a company show in 2019. And I spent the entire summer with these ladies, showing up to rehearsal, giving consults. Somebody's like in the middle of rehearsal and they go down or something's bothering them or pinching them. I'm right there. They can come over there and talk to me. I taught workshops to help them even get through this intensive because he was working them. And I loved being there in the rehearsal space day in and day out. When they finally had their show and I saw how the woman had grown, that's when I was like, this is it. I can't be any place else but right here in the studio or in the home with these artists. I can't be boxed in some traditional clinic. It just doesn't feed me.
So good. And I want to piggyback on that real quick and talk about your number one booked it moment. Walk us through that day, what was going on in your life, and what about that moment makes it your favorite booked it moment?
Okay, so I'm going to say this, which kind of goes both with the medical side and the artistic side, going back to that whole idea of art is subjective. So you can have it. But if that choreographer, the person that's in charge, you don't have, I don't know, blonde hair, blue eyes that day, you didn't get it, and you go home and you're like, oh my God, I can't dance, I suck. It was really that you were 5'4" and they needed someone that was 5'6". You have no idea. So right. on the medical side too, you can get imposter syndrome and you can be like, oh, do I know what I'm doing? Oh, I'm not sure. I'm new, whatever. And my booked it moment, I was in Florida doing a rotation. And for me, I was waking up at 6 a.m. I was working out. I would be to work at 8. I'd work till 4. I'd have an hour break or so. And then I go see my own clients from 5 o'clock until I finish my clients. I get home and I get a phone call from a previous client that I had in New York before I left for Florida due to COVID. And he calls me and he's like, oh my God, I'm in so much back pain. When I breathe, it hurts. And all I can do is just lay on the floor. So we hop on a Zoom call and I do an assessment with him and I write up a program and, I email it to him and that's it. It's 5 days later and I'm on his Instagram story and he's outside doing the WAP dance. Like leg hitting his face, dropping down into his splits. And I'm like, I text him, I'm like,
How are you
weren't
doing
you
that?
just in back pain like 5 days ago? He's like, yeah, I'm feeling better. And that's when I was like, oh, you're good. Like, you thought you didn't know what you were. No, sis, you know exactly what you're doing. This guy,
Oh,
after 5 days, is back dancing, and you didn't even put your hands on his body, and you did the consult through Zoom. You're good.
so cool. Yeah, that's amazing. Love that. And let's take a moment to talk about the present. What projects are you working on now? What are you looking forward to? And it's a weird time, right? We're amidst this global pandemic. How do you see the entertainment industry moving forward in the next couple of years?
Oh, yes, COVID. It's a whole pandemic. Right now, I am continuing to treat and train in a COVID friendly way in New York. I am definitely looking to reach more people outside of New York and really doing a push for online connection and training as well. And continuously just finding ways to prepare dancers for the next step. I like to say getting ready for act two, right? Because right now we're in this long intermission, right, with
Yes.
COVID. Act two is coming. So let's get ready and let's
Mm,
stay ready so that when we are open and Broadway is back up, we don't have any issues. Because I don't know if artists, singers, dancers, but I don't know if they realize how deconditioned the body really gets just sitting at home. And we take classes in the homes, but it's still not to the level that we were doing when the world was, or when Broadway was open and we were doing 8 shows a week, and or for like my college kids taking 10 plus classes a week or whatever it may be. So
yeah.
I'm really all about, hey, let's prepare for act two. And as far as how the entertainment industry is moving forward, I really hope that in this time, artists are seeing the importance of cross training and seeking quality body maintenance. And that's outside of insurance companies. Because something I love to preach to dancers is that insurance companies, they don't care about you doing 8 shows a week. They don't care that your tilt is perfect. They don't care if you can do 5 pirouettes. They care, can you bathe yourself? Can you pick up your groceries? Can you do your activities of daily living? So if you're
Yes.
serious about doing more, know that you should have a body fund and you should be saving so that you can get
Yeah.
the quality of care that you need to be an elite professional, or at
Yeah.
least work towards that.
Have a body fund. That is such a good way to put it. And you're right. We have to take care of ourselves if we're going to have any kind of longevity in this career. And it's easy to pass it off when you're 18, 20 years old. Your body just bounces back. Maybe you get unlucky and you have some really bad injury, but for the most part, you can beat it up pretty good and it can swing back the next day. But all those things compound over time and they get worse and worse as you get older.
Oh, yes. Oh,
Yeah.
yes. And even if it's not like a physical therapist, even if it's a massage or just be saving so you can have that once a month or twice a month, something because you need, right? The foam roller and the lacrosse ball are awesome, but they only take you so far. Just something to
Right.
think about.
And it is time to move on to one of my favorite sections in the interview. I call it the Grease Lightning Round. I am
Hey,
going to ask you a handful of questions. I want you to answer them as quickly and concisely as possible, one after another. Are you ready?
yes.
All right, first question. What was the one thing holding you back from committing to a career as an entertainment professional?
Ooh, my body. I started it when I was a size 20.
Second question. What is the best piece of advice you have ever received?
You're amazing already. Just trust yourself.
Third question, what is something that is working for you right now? Or if you'd like to go pre-COVID, what was working for you before our industry went on pause?
Saying daily affirmations.
Oh, love that. Fourth question, what is your best resource? Whether that is a book, a movie, a YouTube video, maybe a podcast or piece of technology you found is helping your career right now.
The Ensemblist, which is a podcast, has a mini series called Injured and Healing. It was great insight for me.
Wonderful. And the fifth question, if you had to start your career from scratch, but you still had all the knowledge and experience you've collected from your career in this industry, what would you do or not do? Would you do anything differently or would you keep it the same?
Ooh, I would have re-auditioned for the FSU Dance BFA program and then gotten my doctorate in physical therapy.
There we go. And the last question, what is the golden nugget knowledge drop you've learned from your successful career in this industry that you'd like to leave with our listeners?
You don't have to be the best. You just have to keep showing up and stay consistent.
Yes, consistency is everything. It's the little things every day that make the difference.
Yes, 1000%.
Yes, and to wrap up this interview, Sherrill, it is time to give yourself a plug. Where can we find you? How do our listeners connect with you? Is there anything you want to promote?
Yes, you can find me on Instagram at Leg Up Fitness. I'm on Facebook. I think it's just Sherrill W. My website is www.leguppt.com. You can reach me at any of those places. And yeah, I still have a few openings as far as training goes for performing artists. Or if you just have an issue with your body and you want to talk, I'm always open. Please reach out.
Brilliant. And for everyone listening out there, I have put the links to everything Sherrill just said into the description of this episode so you can easily connect with her. And also, be sure to share this podcast with your fellow entertainers, coaches, teachers, arts and entertainment educators, and anyone you know aspiring to create a career in this industry. You Booked It is the #1 resource of expertise on how to actually create a successful entertainment career. It is integral to helping them succeed and helping you create a better, more fulfilling career in this wild and crazy industry. If you enjoyed this episode, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next one. Sherrill, thank you so much for being here, sharing your insight on the physical therapy, body awareness side of this industry. It's so important. Thank you for being here.
Oh, thank you for having me. I so totally appreciate it.
Thank you so much for joining us today. Don't miss an episode. Every guest drops more value and insight than any other resource out there. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd love to hear from you. Leave us a rating and review. Also, be sure to head over to youbookeditpodcast.com and join our free email community where we dig deep into a continually growing resource of truly actionable things you can be doing right now to help you advance your entertainment career. All the best to you.